Hello, this is Pens of John Paul II. This is our second session, or actually our third session, but our second recorded session. My name is Allan. I am the moderator. We'll start with Ben down there. Please introduce yourselves.
My name is Ben.
Tyler.
Remember to look at the camera, right?
Hi, I'm this guy. I'm Tyler.
I'm Tara.
Go ahead.
I'm Luca. Probably didn't see me last time, but I'm here now.
Okay. Now today we're going to mostly be focusing on the writing of our book. We got a quick lesson. We'll start with this. This is a blank page. You've all been filling one of these up since you could put a crayon in your little chubby little hands, right? So there's no reason to be afraid of a blank page. Like a journey of 10,000 miles that starts with one step, a book of 100,000 words starts with one word. So what I want you guys to do is to get in the practice of writing every day. So every day, regardless of what's going on, I want you guys to open up your chapter that you're working on, and I want you to at least write one sentence. And I want you to start tonight, okay? I want you to do that every night until we meet next week, you know? And that, I don't know what you guys did on the weekend, but I wrote a 3-act play, complete with 15 songs, right? And the reason that I can write like that is because I've strengthened my writing muscles by writing every day, right? So putting down a sentence take you less than 5 minutes, right? But just get into practice, you know? Because once you get into practice, yeah, maybe one day you only get one sentence done, right? And the next day maybe you get 5 paragraphs done, right? And then one day you get 15 pages written, right? You know what I mean? You get in the habit and writing every day, it gets easier and easier and easier to fill these blank pages, right? So what we're going to talk about first, if you look at your lesson 3, is called manuscript form. Manuscript form has existed since printing, basically. And it allows 2 things. It makes it easier to print the book, and it makes it easier to edit and do rewrites. Okay? So the margin in page setup should be normal, right? And the margin should be at 2.54 centimeters at the top, 2.54 centimeters at the bottom. The left is 2.54 and the right is 2.54 centimeters. Okay? Your orientation should be portrait. So when my portrait is up and down like this, we are not using landscape. Okay? The size should be letterhead, which is 8.5 by 11, or 21.59 centimeters by 27.9 centimeters. Okay? The indent should be set at 0 centimeters for left and 0 centimeters for right. The spacing should be double spaced, and there should be 0 points before a paragraph and 0 points after. Okay? The first line of each chapter is started 13 spaces from the top. Okay? And the first line of each paragraph is indented 5 spaces. Okay? And despite what Microsoft thinks, this is the industry standard that both publishers and agents expect to see. If you leave a blank space after each paragraph, over a 400-page manuscript, you are leaving between 1,200 and 2,000 blank spaces. The reader is paying for between 48 and 80 blank pages. And I don't know about you, but when I buy a book, I don't want to pay for 80 blank pages, right? Because white space costs even when you're printing, right? So this is manuscript form. When we get to the point where we are preparing our manuscript for publication, we use a different template, and this year I'm hoping that we actually get to play with that template, and you can see how it goes. These are, next what we're going to talk about is dialogue styles and rules, okay? When a speaker speaks, the dialogue is indented 5 spaces. What they say is surrounded by quotation marks. For example, this quotation mark, this is proper dialogue, quotation mark, right? A comma, quotation mark, right? So your punctuation goes inside. Allan said, period, right? Tags, what is written after the spoken words. In this case, the Allan says is the tag, right? Okay? Is either the word said or an action. For example, Allan turned, looking at the others around the table. Who wants to write a best-selling novel? Right? So, quotation mark. Who wants to write a best-selling novel, period, quotation mark, right? And fat chance, right? So, quotation mark, fat chance, comma, quotation mark, Tara said, right? So, sorry about that. Sometimes a tag can be used to display a character's emotion, but the preference is for either said or an action. The reason they use said is because studies show that it's invisible to the readers. An action because it drives the action of the scene or drives the plot, right? So if you have 2 speakers, you don't always need a tag. For example, hey, Allan said. What? Julia turned. Would you run and buy me a Porsche? Not going to happen, right? You already know who said what, right? Because there's only 2 speakers. Allan spoke first. Allan asked Julie for a Porsche. And Julie said, no way, right? So, that you don't always have to have a tag after each piece of dialogue if there's only 2 speakers, right? So, these are when you're going in, so these are the things that you're going to use, and we're all set to start it, right? So, it was a short lesson today. Does anybody have any questions about what we talked about? It's pretty straightforward, or, yeah, go ahead.
I was just wondering for the above quotation, how can you put in a period for who wants to write a best-selling novel instead of, say, a question?
Oh, well, you know what? It could have been a question mark. It probably should have been.
Yeah,
or it
because
could have been a exclamation mark. But you're right. It probably should have been a question mark because that kind
Because when
of.
I read it, it sounds kind of unenthusiastic, like who wants to write a best-selling novel?
Yeah. Well, and that the main point here though was where the punctuation went, where the quotation marks went, which is something that we had problems with last year. Okay? But that was a good point. My bad grammar.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, that's what we do. It's part of our job. Everybody makes memes about the grammar police, but as writers, we have to be able to edit our own work, right? And so that was a good catch, right? Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
What would be the different use between the period and the comma within the quotation?
Well, a period, if you're, if it's really short, right, and it's not a complete sentence, like fat chance isn't really a complete sentence, right? So because it's not really a complete sentence, right, you had, yeah.
So if it's the first time introducing a character into the conversation, then you would usually put X set, but further on it's sort of implied that
They-
the same word. Yes.
Yeah, that exactly too. You can do that too, but like for instance, if you're asking a question, you have to have a question mark, because your character is asking a question, so it would be a question mark. But if you have a complete sentence, and it can be a short sentence, right? You could put period, and then capital, he said, she said, whatever, right? But if it's really short, right, you just want to use the comma, right, quotation mark, and then either, normally it would be he said, she said, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or, you know, they all yelled or whatever, right? And that, so it would be a lowercase. But if it's a name, then, you know, you have an uppercase. If it's a complete sentence, like this is a proper dialogue, it could have been period there. That still would have been grammatically correct, right? And that, so it's just basically, if it's short, and you could consider it a clause in a sentence, right? And you want to go with the comma, right? For flow, right? And that you can occasionally use a different, you know, than he's said, right? Like where Tara said fat chance, you might have said fat chance, Tara muttered, right? So when you're reading it, you don't really read the quotation marks, right? But you do, you know, read, I mean, it could have been fat chance, exclamation mark.
But then you would need to put in Tara exclaimed, and then
Yeah.
and then comma, and then fat chance. Would you not?
You could do it that way. It can go, your tag can come, or action can come before or after, right? And using a combination of that, before or after, writing, one thing we haven't talked about, but writing has a rhythm that's not just the words, right? Basically, I'm going to use this page.
So it's almost
Remember those old books when you were a kid in grade school? Did anybody have to read the C spot run,
Yep.
right? C spot run, period. Run, spot, run, period. Right? Now imagine just 100,000 pages of just this. Your eye is going to go. Right? So, there's the rhythm that you create by using short and long sentences, right? And that's for the eye, right? So you don't want to use the same length, or approximately the same length, in your sentences. You want to vary it up. Just like your eyes listening to a tango or something, right? Like, you know what I mean? It needs the variety, right? Or the eyes will drift off to sleep, right? So there's a rhythm that way, and there's also a rhythm in your choice of words, right? You know what I mean? So writing has rhythm, and it's just important as what you write. You know, it may sound a little bit nitpicking, but it has to do with the actual mechanics of reading, right? You know, if I went like this, you know, eventually your eyes, you know what I mean? Like, you know, or if you try to stare at one point, like you're, just the way the eyes work, right? And we read with our eyes. So we gotta give some juice there for the eyes, right? You know, something to exercise them, right? So, now we left off on chapter 20. In chapter 20, he got rushed to the hospital, and after getting smucked by a truck, that's Darius, right? And we've got some glitter too. Somebody left us, and it's all over the paper. So, at this, yes?
How long does he spend by himself recovering? Because I was thinking that he would, especially very, very recently, wouldn't he try and sort of ruminate over this?
Yeah, it should be at least 2 or 3 chapters that he hasn't seen anything. I think at the first, Darius has to be in a coma, you know, for the first chapter. And it basically has to be happening in his mind.
Second chapter.
Or like he's kind of like delusional from it. Like he got
Yeah, what's
shaken
in
up
his
and
head,
he's
right?
like- and then his mind's like interpreting things since he can't properly.
Yeah, he's unconscious, right? So he's dreaming, and he's dreaming like things are happening. Like, he should be dreaming that everybody hates him, and everybody's laughing at him, right? You know, and everybody's picking on him, right?
Of course, we can't really go into specifics in dreams.
Yeah, but he should be dreaming like it's real, right? You know what I mean? Have you ever had, I don't know how many of you guys have jobs, but at one point when you work, you're gonna have a dream where you're at work, you know? And, you know, and it's gonna be like either totally crazy, you know, like they're gonna ask you to take a package and down this office, and the hallways for the school just keep going, and you're running into thousands of people on your way.
So it's real, but
You know, it's- yeah.
but it's mundane enough to be realistic. Is that what you want?
Yeah, like it's realistic, right? It could be simply that, you know, I'm in a call center. I used to dream all the time that I was taking calls. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes it'd just be like a normal call that I'm taking, right? And I'd be dreaming, and it would just be before the alarm clock wakes me up, right? And I'm like, jeez, I'm not at work yet. I'm late. You know, when you wake up,
And
because it's so normal, right? But sometimes it's so weird. Like I dreamt one time that I had to deliver a package. And so me and my coworker were going to deliver a package. And our job, like where I worked, the call center was at Galleria Mall. I don't know if City Center now, downtown now. It's called City. And it just, City Center went on forever. We were driving a car through it. We were taking a subway to deliver this package in this mall. There was all kinds of people, all kinds of weird stuff going on, right? There was a circus, you know.
That's what happened.
You know, this is like, there was a concert going on. We had to work our way through the crowds at the concert in this mall.
there's like there's something else that I sometimes have that could work for that. Is like it's almost like a crippled dream where
Yeah.
often I'll be like something will happen, and oftentimes it's just lights, and it just completely blinds me, and I can't see anything. And oftentimes it ends up me just with my face to the ground in a ball, trying not to be completely blinded.
Yeah.
And it just seems to go on for hours when
Yeah.
it starts off with something normal dream, and then it devolves into I can't see anything.
Okay. But basically what he's going to do, he's dreaming that he's at school. He's come back to school. He's okay. You know what I mean? The truck just grazed him in his dream. He's going back to school. And everybody hates him. And everybody's laughing. Right?
We should have her forget what we need his girlfriend. We should have her break up.
Yeah, and
His friend's not like.
didn't we keep it? There was Beth and
Bree, right?
Bree.
Bree.
So Bree breaks up with him in the dream, right?
I got the paint.
Or she like goes and finds someone else who's normal compared to her.
Yeah. Because she found somebody who's normal, right? That sound like a nightmare situation.
Whatever we're doing is working out. I already feel bad for this guy.
I think I've talked to people about like our plot outline, right? Like people who had to need to know, like the teacher from the art class who's actually working on the cover as a assignment, right? And they all say this sounds like a really, really interesting book.
We have to get Tony right away.
So,
I think something with like his dream state, it would work if like you don't know that it's a dream, and the previous chapter kind of ends with the truck hitting him, and then it just jumps right to that he's back at school.
yeah, no,
and then it tells you
and
later on.
we don't want the readers to know. I don't think he should wake up until the 3rd,
So Tony fixed that.
right? And then he's alone in the hospital in the 3rd. So on the 22nd, he should still be in the hospital. But
In a dream state, or is he
still in a dream state. I think in chapter 23 is when he should come out. And nobody be there who wakes up in the hospital in chapter 23, right? And that was,
Also be that it also messes with you in that he still thinks that he's in like a sort of dream state,
yeah.
and that he still thinks that everything is fake, and so he doesn't
Okay.
factor in what's actually happened.
Yeah, but he feels sorry for himself, right? Yeah, at first when he wakes up, he doesn't realize this is real. Until the pain hits him, right? Right? And he realizes he can't move.
so like he tries to get up and can't.
Because he got like a broken leg and broken
He's
arm.
by a truck.
Yeah, no, like,
Varies from like what truck it was.
Yeah. What kind of truck was it?
it was a big truck. It
Oh,
was
the
like
transport?
a transport truck. Because those are the ones that can't stop,
Yeah.
right? Because a normal truck might have been able to stop.
If
So-
if he hit it, he probably wouldn't have done it. It's just the big ones.
Yeah.
Like a big.
Like an 18-wheeler can't stop very fast. Like the other day, one of these animal protesters ran in front of a truck. And they're kind of say that the truck driver purposely ran them over. But the thing is it takes about 40 or 50 feet to stop one of these things.
It's like jumping into a burning house and trying to sue the people who the house was on fire, saying
Yeah.
that they made the fire just to get at them.
Yeah.
And my mom has gotten into a car crash with a big 18-wheeler when she was on the 401, I think.
Yeah.
And she was actually pregnant with me, and what happened was the truck tried to turn, and her and her mom kept going, and then the bus didn't realize that they were coming until it had fully turned, and they didn't realize that it was going right in front of them. And so it kept going, and they kept going, and then they collided with the actual entire flank of the truck.
Yeah. That sounds like a horrid accident, actually. So he's gonna have a broken leg and a broken arm, and on his other arm, he's got a broken collarbone bone,
Would that hurt?
right? So he,
Wait, like, what if?
that way he has no arms.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But like, what if like he breaks his one arm, but his one arm with the disability is still okay? So that
It's just his collarbone on that one.
Oh.
Isn't it the?
And
So, like-
and because he's got to keep it still,
Yeah.
and it's gonna do this, it's gonna cause him a lot of pain.
Yeah, like-
Are we gonna make it so that the like Lucas said, that the one that is like the alien hand is that one? That one's okay, or is that one like the broken one? And then he kind of
No,
thinks that
his
it's
right
okay.
arm is broken, right? The left is his is the alien hand. He's got a broken collarbone, so think about it. When you got a broken collarbone, they usually put your arm like this, and you got to keep it still. It hurts,
I've never had
but
that.
because because it won't always stay still, it's gonna really cause him a lot of pain.
Yeah, like thinks to himself stuff like, oh, well, I broke my arm. Why couldn't it have been that arm?
You know?
Feeling more down.
Yeah, like so, really down, really in pain.
When he realized he was in pain because he's saying that all of a sudden his hand just moves and
Yeah.
it hurts.
Yeah, and then in 24, Bree's got to come see him at the hospital, and he's gonna think they've broken up.
Can he speak?
Yeah, he can speak now. He's woken up. So Bree comes in, and she's, you know, and he thinks they've broken up, right? And
he would be like kind of. He thinks that his dream about her kind of leaving him is real, so he's
Yeah.
just like upset at her and doesn't even want to
Yeah.
speak to her.
and she's like, you know,
Trying to.
she's just like, you're silly. What's that about, right? You know what I mean? You've been dreaming, right?
Does he accept that quickly, or does it take a time?
No, this has got to be a whole scene where, you know, oh,
Like-
nobody likes me anyways, and
Yeah, like they could
Yeah.
be talking about that for a while, and then maybe a doctor could come in and say, yeah, he has been dreaming. That could have been part of it or something.
well, I think it should just be between these two, just boyfriend, girlfriend, fighting it out, and he's saying like nobody likes me, right? And she's telling him you're crazy.
Then she could say like, you've basically been in a coma for like half a month.
And then-
Everyone thinks you're dying.
But
In the hospital.
it shouldn't be that long in the coma.
No.
They usually only induce a coma for a couple days to help the body heal and to make sure there's no brain damage, right?
A week tops.
Yeah, a week at tops. So we don't want him out for too long. We want him eventually to get back to school, right, in time for the prom. But what we're leading up to here is that she is going to be right around chapter 30. This should be going on with him. She's gonna find out about his alien hand in the next couple chapters, right? From his mother and the doctors, right? And then he's still going on. Everybody hates me. I never want to go back to school. And right around chapter 30 is when she,
Convinces him.
no, she does the intervention. It starts just with her bringing Beth and Dave.
Yeah, she should bring like a bunch, like a large group.
Yeah, eventually, like
He was part of the play, right?
Yeah.
And that, so she could bring the entire cast.
yeah, like
That's
what's
the point
gonna
of it.
happen is that she brings that 30. She brings Beth and Dave, and he's still not convinced. He's still not convinced. And like she says, they bring the whole play, the whole cast of the play, like just everybody, big, you know, and not just the play, like a whole bunch of people
Anyone
come.
who wants to come.
Yeah, it's just and they all bring balloons and you know teddy bears and
As much people as could fit.
yeah, not even that, more. It's spilling out into the hallway, right? Like, so the doctors and nurses says only 5 at a time,
So
Right.
there's just a bunch of people standing.
and there's like a big lineup with right? And
Because he
they,
was popular as well.
yeah, he was popular, but now he thinks he's not. So that's leading to the big thing, right? And then at about 39, he goes to the prom. And as he's coming in, you know when you go to the prom, they don't do it at every prom, but you know how they have the spotlight on the couples as they come through the door?
I don't really
Not a
know
problem.
that.
I've never been.
Okay.
I've never.
Like you've seen it in movies, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I'm
lots of
talking
nature,
about, right?
Blah
Like,
blah blah. They kiss.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see the spotlight as the couples come in, right? Yeah. Yeah. Right? So he's coming through the door, spotlights on him, because remember with the Epiphany, the whole thing is they're bathed in light when it happens, right? Whether it's sunlight or moonlight or fire, right?
You
You know.
get voted prom king, and then it's like, oh wait, everyone likes me.
Yeah,
That could
yeah,
be the epiphany.
yeah. But the Epiphany is that it wasn't them who wasn't accepting his disability, it's me. It was me all along. Right?
That could
That's
be
his
like-
Epiphany,
That could be
right?
like an aid to the
Yeah.
epiphany.
Right. No, that is the Epiphany.
Oh.
The Epiphany is,
No, I mean like being
Oh.
voted prom king.
oh yeah, no, that could, yeah, definitely, you know.
Epiphanies are usually instantaneous. No?
Yeah, they're like instantaneous, in a way that they happen in a moment, in a flash. But they're also things that, like, built up over time, right? Like, you know, events happen and all of a sudden you have that moment of clarity. You just understand yourself or your situation or the world. You see it all in a flash, right? You know what I mean? You just have total crystal understanding in that moment, right?
Just hits you.
Yeah, it just comes to you, right? So that's what we're gonna do there.
They'll walk through a window.
So
Instantaneous.
so they're having their little spat here, right?
Their argument.
Yeah. And it doesn't get resolved in 25, right? Or in 24, right? That it's just she still thinks her boyfriend and girlfriend,
Yeah.
right? But there's he's not, yeah. And that so in 25 Bree and Darius's mother should be talking, and she should find out about his hand, right? So this one is Bree and mother talking, and finds out about his hand. And it all starts because she has the troll, and the mother sees her with the troll, right? And then she realizes like what it really is, right? When she talks to her mother, right? Because remember, the troll was his thing that he kept the hand in control with, right? So the mother sees it and says, "Where did you get that?" It's from Darius. He said, "I can't believe he gave you that. He needs it." And she said, "Why?" Right?
She says because of this.
Yeah, and then she explains, it helps him with his disorder. And she says, "What disorder?" And that's how she learns, right? So everybody pictures that in their mind.
I
I
can see
was
that.
also thinking that like he found out that Bree found out, and then he thinks that she's gonna go back and tell everyone about it, and then he could have like another kind of like
But she-
nightmare about it, and that everyone accepts him less now that they know that there's something actually wrong with him.
Not
Yeah.
so much nightmare, more like a daydream.
Yeah, it could be a daydream, but she realizes what happens, and she's gonna feel guilty, right?
Yeah.
Because she didn't realize, right? Right? So we gotta get that in there. And then the next time she sees him, right, she's going to try to talk to him about his hand, right? Tell him she doesn't care and say sorry that she took a thing she didn't realize, right? And they're going to have another spat, right? And that's where Ben's idea comes in, right? That he thinks she's going to go and tell everybody, right? And that leads to their argument, right? So she tells him she doesn't care, right? And she's sorry, right, that she took the troll, right? And then he thinks she's gonna tell everybody, right? And they have a spat, right? Sorry, my spelling is getting really bad as I'm shorthanding this.
As long as we can read it, right?
Yeah. When I will expand it. Now, that's 26. We're almost to where we want to be for tonight. Now,
Which is where.
we want to be to 30. Okay? So, 27. Bree's got to go talk to her girlfriend. Right? And if you had a big fight with your boyfriend, that's right?
I'd go and
Her
talk
friend
to
who
her.
is also a girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She got to go talk to her girls. This is not working out, right? What's going on, right? So, Bree and Beth should have a girls'
We should sleep over.
sleepover
I don't know what girls do about these kinds of things.
and long talk
Oh, yeah.
I can't write that chapter. I don't know what they would do.
all night. You know what? We'll give that to Tara. But
Yeah,
you
Not
know,
in the group.
Yeah, you know girl talk.
and, but the thing is too, you want to stretch yourself too. But we'll give it to Tara because it'll probably go over. But
It'll be natural.
But it'll be all
Natural.
night. They can't even go to class the next day or get up or whatever the next day they put up. I had 2 girls, and when they had girls over, it was like
It was crazy.
You're up all
So their
night.
parents just call him sick.
and that.
That
No,
is-
the girls will probably have to call it sick.
Pretend to be
They just
parents.
don't get up, and that.
Actually,
The parents just
Call them dead.
shut them into whatever room and go. Okay. Out of the house sometimes is good. It's just like, you know, I think it's it depends on how many you have over.
It can get crazy.
Yeah, it can get crazy.
You know, that's experience.
I've had 7 or 8 over at once, and
That's a lot.
I moved. I didn't tell them. I just left. I'm moving. I'm going back home. I'm moving in with Mom. It's like I brought the snow shovel out the next day to clean up my living room.
Makes sense.
And, my fault. I shouldn't have fed him with pizza and sugar.
That's the best thing to have when there's a bunch of buildup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us guys are probably the same.
Yeah.
Sit around.
Yeah. At least I am.
Talk all night,
Yep.
drink, eat too much sugar. Yeah, that's why they can't sleep, right?
I'm like
It's like,
I'm having-
I don't know, I only had 18 packs of Skittles.
Look, man, I'm just trying to go to sleep, okay? Just give me the sleep pills.
Yeah, just, you know.
Whenever me and my friends would sleep over, we'd always just end up recording each other saying.
The girls used to do that. They used to sing and do dance videos and
My sister singing.
I've done that once, except I hadn't even eaten candy. I was just really stupid.
okay. So 28 28, Darius and his mother should talk. Right?
Like, say something like, oh, I talked to her and told her, but he's fine.
Well, she's gonna say, what's going on with you?
Uh,
Like, why are you, what? She's gonna say, why were you so mean to? Right? Because she's gonna like Bree, right?
Yeah.
You know?
She's gonna like kind of question him, like, why haven't you told him?
You know what?
sooner?
Boyfriend's mothers love the girlfriend, usually. Unless she's, like, some...
it just sucks.
Yeah.
Unless it sucks.
Well, you know, if, like, she's some biker girl that's been dragged in, you know? 8 years older, you know, mom's
that's
not gonna... But I tell you, usually, yeah, girlfriend and mother are great friends, you know, at the teenage years. Sometimes, like, when you come home and it's like you're in your 20s and yeah, I'm gonna marry this woman, and it's like, you know, not always, but just sometimes, right? Like, but at the girlfriend age, especially the first ones, like, that's just like, this is the biggest thing ever, you know? My little boy's growing up, right? Like, and yeah, they get pretty close. So I think that's the kind of relationship we want
Derek.
Bree and Darius's mother to have, right? Right. So they have a talk of, you know, why you're so mean, right? And they kind of fight it out. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a major question that I wanted to talk about for. What are these characters' written voices going to be like?
Oh.
Isn't that for, like, the character? Their character?
Oh, like,
No.
I mean,
there's
you know, I
certain
think,
style.
I
They're all
think,
gonna be
I think Darius's mother should be a little blue collar, right? Yeah. Means that she's not a highly educated person. Like, you know, she's not like a doctor or a lawyer. Right?
So, yeah,
She
so-
talks very down to earth. She's very earthy. Okay.
She's not stupid, but she's not insanely smart either.
No. What I'm
She's
saying
not
is, like, she's not gonna.
Oh.
She's not going to be talking about the dialectic of this situation is totally out of hand. Right? She's going to say,
I would fire your girlfriend at once.
it's like, dude, what you doing? Yeah, she's going to talk like that. She's going to be down to earth,
That's how
right?
my mom talks.
You know? Yeah, like yeah, she's going to be blue collar people talk normally, like they don't talk like some hillbilly,
They talk
right?
AKA
But they
talk
don't
to me.
talk like some egghead either, right? You know what I mean? She's not gonna throw out some 50-cent word, right? She's gonna be down to earth, like she's gonna know. You know what I mean? Like, she's gonna know stuff, right?
She knows
And you're not gonna put things over on her, right? Like, you know what I mean? She's going to have common sense, like common dog, like we used to say, right? And so she's gonna be like, "Little bro, what do you do?"
Dude,
Well, it depends on
You know,
depends
like-
on when she
like-
was born.
You know? Yeah, well, I'm saying like whatever, but
Like,
I'm just using your vernacular, you know, to like, you know, she's not gonna say little bro, but she might say dude. She might call him dude, right?
Girls told her tubular.
You know? Probably not like that, but probably more like Chichi and Chong dude.
Yeah.
You know, not a Valley Girl dude, right? You know, but you know they're gonna have their little thing. So, in chapter 29, you know, don't worry, we'll get it. We only have one more, and we kind of know what's going on at 30. 30 is when she brings Dave and
And then we
Beth
went
back.
back to from 20, or we do just end from 30 to 40.
30 to 40, because we already got to 20 done, right? So we started at 1. 1 is actually finished. I will be doing a couple of others because a couple of people dropped out, right? So, by next session, we will have at least 3 chapters written. And hopefully you guys have your chapters written too.
So
Right.
I hope I will.
Yeah, we will look at
Am
that.
I still doing the same chapters?
Yeah, yeah. We will go in and get your chapter. I'll show it to you before we go. I just have to plug the USB stick in and call it up. So 29, Darius and 3 have to make up, right? And he's got to
Actually,
talk about his fears.
How many chapters are we doing again?
40. Now the reason we do 40, other than, like, you would have any number of chapters, okay? You can write a 400-page book with 5 chapters,
That's a lot. That's
Okay.
3 chapters.
but every chapter is going to be about 80 pages, right? You could do,
I'm just gonna read one more chapter.
yeah,
It's like one.
yeah. You know, you could do 20, and you might have like 20-page chapters. The reason we do 40 is that the shorter chapters for newer writers is easier. Okay? Like, you don't have to write this great big long, you know. I mean, I've written a lot of books, 10 chapters, you know,
But
with sub-chapters, right? Like,
Oh.
in it, right? Like, you know, but that was fantasy, and, you know.
Fancy?
To be fair, like I've read a I would say 300 to 400 page book, and that was only divided up into 3 parts.
Yeah. So also they talk about his belief that nobody likes him anymore.
But then she.
Especially Dave and Beth. Right?
She proves him wrong.
Yeah, and so in the next chapter, I won't even write it out, but she brings Dave and Beth. Right? That's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So,
Then later on in the book, she brings everyone else.
yeah, so it's still going to be crazy, and it's still going to be basically her going to see him and him still believe, like, I'm never coming back to John Paul. I'm never going to go there ever again. I'm ruined there, you know what I mean? I think I'm going to go to some high school in some little town somewhere, you know, I don't know.
I don't know.
Godridge, like, what's the high school in Godridge? We'll find it out. Yeah, he's gonna go. He says, where?
Google.
You know, well, go Google it, right? But he's gonna,
Woodstock.
you know, whatever, Woodstock, whatever. He doesn't want to even go to school in London, right?
England sounds nice.
Yeah, well, there you go. Great line, right? So then we'll get to 35, and that's the big one where she brings everybody. And 36 is basically his first day back at school. 37 and 8, you know, right? And 39 is the big scene with him at the prom, right? And then 40, 39 can be him getting ready for the prom,
Is 40 going to be him at the prom?
and then 40 them at the prom.
Okay.
They're made king and queen of the prom. The light falls. He has his epiphany. The end. Or as
we'll work in his mooch.
and yes, yeah, okay, we can work that in, but you know, as we say in the industry, that would be 30.
I don't know what that
Means no more to come.
Ah.
So when you're editing and you see this, right? Dash 30 dash, which is called 30 odd. It means no more to come.
Can you
Not
explain
end.
the origin of that?
What's odd?
Odd means nothing.
And I guess 30 here means to go.
That they came up with editing short form they have a lot of editing short forms. I'm not sure why the 30 was chosen, but I have suspect it has something to do with printing, the old-fashioned printing.
30 being a big number.
And that, I think it had something to do with the old-fashioned printing presses that you cranked out the
Maybe you could only do 30 pages at a time.
something, right? But
We'll find out.
it comes.
My parents.
But I will Google it for you, and I will definitely find out. But there we are. Next session we will have the thing plotted out. Before you go, I just wanted to show you some.
Actually, what do we do?
Who wants to hire a Luke Rideau? I have his resume for some reason.
No, thank you.
My staff
Okay.
is already
Let's
filled
start
out.
with this. When I write and you're working on, start with that. Just pass that around and just look through it. Just flip through it. And these are all.
I've read it all.
These are all my plot outlines. These are other papers for plot outlines. We don't need to see this. When one thing with writers, okay, and you start writing, and you're writing a book, blah, 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 I'm writing a book. Oh my God, I'm thinking of a great idea for another book,
That's me.
okay?
That's what I do.
Now, the worst thing to do is to stop and start writing another book.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I know it's a problem.
And so what you do, pass this up because she hasn't seen it.
Thank you.
Now, if you just look through, these are, but if you pass this part, right? I just do a plot outline. I write down my ideas in short form. Like just, here's the title, here's 3 things about, like 3 sentences. And that, excuse me. Now I have to start coughing, right? When you have, like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write today. And I will take the first hour of my writing session, and I'll work on a plot outline from one of the great ideas you always have when you're starting to
But
write.
then you can't figure out how to fit it in.
And then, well, no, this is about when you think of total different, not related to the book.
Yeah, that's
And what happens is, with new writers, they start the book, and they have this great idea, and they start this other book, and then they have this great idea, and they start this other book, and believe me, I know what it's like because I got 20 books started on my computer. Okay.
Damn it, didn't buy for me.
And that-
If you do, that's good.
Like that. No, but I'm just saying, so what you want to do is finish the project you're working on. Always finish the project you're working on
Like
first.
If you have a good
So-
idea for another one, like note it. But then you
Yeah,
have to-
yeah. But take some time when you're sitting down. This is my writing time. I'm sitting down to write. It doesn't have to be, I take an hour, right? But it doesn't have to, it could be 20 minutes. I'm going to work on this plot outline of the idea. And just do the plot outline like we are doing, chapter by chapter. And you can go back. I got some plot outlines, I don't know if you got towards the back, where every chapter's a page of description, right? But just do it so you got the idea down on the paper and set it aside, right? Because when you're finished and you want to go start another project, right? You just what do I want to do? There's about 40, 50 novels right there in that book you looked at. Plus I got another 20 sitting on my computer. And I only got 2 works in progress. Well, 3 now with this, right? I told you about Alone. That's the book strategy I'm working on. About the 5 kids who run away from the residential school and try to cross all of northern Canada to get home, right? And I got one of the books that's been sitting on my computer that's half written, called Redemption, that I'm going to finish off, right? So basically, when you do that, and you'll have a whole bunch of ideas, right? And they're all prepared, and then, oh, I've finished this book, and maybe a week or 2 later, I feel like starting another project. You pick and choose, right? But you didn't lose that idea that you had, because it may take you 3 months to finish the book you're working on, or the play you're working on, or whatever you're working on, right? You know what I mean? Because there's no deadline on how fast you have to write a book. We write a book pretty fast, right? Because we kind of have a deadline. School doesn't go on forever, right? You guys graduate. But when you're doing your own stuff, and that. So everybody's been working on their own book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, okay. So make sure, though, next week, we want to see some of the work on, I'd like to see a chapter done at least, right? Because it's been a couple weeks since you were assigned them. I will show you your chapter right now. I'm just going to push this back here. And can you hit the stop button there? Oh, darn it. Well, that's it for today. It's a short one today. We got 10 chapters plotted out, and we also went over manuscript form, dialogue, and we talked about the rhythm of writing and blank pages and what would be that. So I want to thank you for joining us. I will see you next week when we will be getting hardcore into the writing. Thank you very much.
See you next time.